Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Friday, and today's guests, including Rob Longley of the Toronto Sun, standing by, brought to you by Langley Chrysler. Enjoy no-hassle 3-day returns and 30-day exchanges on all used vehicles, so you can make sure what you get is just right for you. Don't just love your car, love buying it at langleychrysler.com. Jays and Texas today.
Oh, excited.
At Rogers Centre in Toronto. You know, Rick, it's been 3 years since the Jays played a home opener. So
yes.
Today against Trevor Siemian and the Texas Rangers. Here to talk about it. A busy day for him, and he's made time for us. From the Toronto Sun, he covers the Blue Jays, Rob Longley. Rob, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
Hey, my pleasure, guys. Opening day, it is pretty exciting, and like as you said, even more so since it's been 3 years since we've actually had a real one, and you can really feel the buzz in the city, and especially you can feel it around this baseball team. Renovations
to Rogers Centre, have I got that right, Rob?
There's been some. I mean, the big renovation is going to start next year in the off season, but they've have enhanced lighting and a much bigger jumbotron screen. So it's visually it's still the old Sky Dome, but it's a little nicer, a little easier on the eyes. New turf that they had installed prior to last season, but it's got that opening day feel to it. There's going to be a few little treats, I think, for the fans who catch it live or on TV tonight.
You look around the internet, there are some people picking the Jays to do very well, maybe finish in first place in the American League East. What about your expectations, Rob?
Yeah, funny, just before we started this, guys, I was on one of the many betting sites out there now. And, I mean, on most of them, the Blue Jays are the second pick to win the World Series, right behind the Los Angeles Dodgers, which is certainly optimistic, but they've kind of earned those expectations with that 91-win season last year. I would say they're the favorites to win the American League East, but as we all know, that's one of the toughest divisions in all of baseball. Last time I checked, the Yankees are still there, and so are the Red Sox, and so are the Tampa Bay Rays, who were in the World Series last year. So while I think they are the team to beat in the American League East, it won't come easy. They got to play each of those teams 19 times. So will a real home field advantage be enough to push them over the edge and get them beyond the 91 wins that they had last year? We'll see. I think it's going to take at least that to move on to the postseason.
Bichette, Vlad Jr., George Springer, a lot of names there. Who's the leader in the clubhouse, in the dugout, on the field? Who's the guy?
It seems like there's a whole bunch of them. I just spent 3 weeks with them down in Florida, and it's really a loose group. I mean, there's sometimes that whole camaraderie thing is overused in sports, but you really got the sense that they all got along well. But there's a bunch of different kinds of leaders. There's George Springer, the obvious guy, the 2017 World Series MVP, the highest paid Blue Jay in history. But he's kind of integrated himself in with these young guys and sort of has a lot of fun with them as well, and seems to get along with Vlad and Bo, who are both leaders in their own way. I think Bo Bichette is probably the leader of this team in the future. I mean, he's only 24 years old now, so he's kind of going to have to grow into that role, but he's kind of got those qualities, those leadership qualities. Vlad leads by example. 2 years ago, he was very unfit. He took care of that part of his business, and now he's one of the best players in baseball. So he leads by example in terms of what he can do and his work ethic. And, a week or so into spring training, the team got another leader in Matt Chapman, the third baseman, which fills a huge hole for this team, obviously. But a guy who kind of brings a real solid work ethic and is an all-star himself, and I think will emerge as a leader as well. So there's plenty of leadership. And manager Charlie Montoyo kind of lets the players run the roost here because he feels that there's a strong enough leadership group in that clubhouse that they can get the job done that way.
Hey, Rob, I want to talk about ownership. Payroll's at $170 million. That's a record. Have they stepped up here and said, hey, look, especially in that division where you got some of the biggest spenders in all of baseball, talk about them stepping up here and increasing the payroll.
Yeah, this is one of the more untold stories of this team, I think, because you have to consider that they haven't had any gate revenue for 2 years, right?
Right.
Yet they're still stepping up. They're paying more, as you said, than they ever have in history for payroll. And I think it's a credit to the blueprint and the plan, the 5-year plan or whatever it was that team president Mark Shapiro and GM Ross Atkins had. And that was, you know what, we're going to develop a team. We're going to draft and develop a team around these young guys. But when these young guys prove that not only are they big leaguers, but they're, you know, borderline stars in the big leagues, then we're going to have to act at that time and build around them. So they've gradually done that over the past 3 off seasons. The first guy they went for was Hyunjin Ryu to sort of be the ace of the starting staff. And then the following winter, they went for George Springer. Now, Springer only played 78 games last year, but, you know, give him double that this year and watch out. And they've continued to add in the offseason. They extended Jose Barrios. They acquired Matt Chapman. They're building that payroll, and they're clearly sending the message that it's go time. Like it's win now. And they feel that with the core that they have and the guys that are locked up for enough time, that this team can be a real contender, not just for this season, but for the next 3 or 4.
So the starting pitching, everyone seems to be pretty happy with it, even though you lost Robbie Ray. But what about the bullpen? Is it better than last year? There was a lot of complaints about it.
Yeah, I think it's one of the sort of underrated parts of this team. We'll see how it plays out, but certainly heading into the season, it's dramatically better than it was last year. And there's a lot of depth to it and a lot of versatility, a lot of different types of arms in there, guys who can do different things. And that gives a manager all kinds of options at whatever stage in the game he might need somebody. You know, Jordan Romano, the Canadian kid, he really emerged as a legit closer last year, had knee surgery in the offseason and feels even stronger than he ever has. This kid can throw it over 100 miles an hour, so he's a perfect guy to close out a ball game in the 9th inning. But beyond that, they've got other guys. They acquired a guy named Jimmy Garcia in the offseason who can close games and has in the major leagues. And 2 guys they got at the trade deadline last summer, Trevor Richards and Adam Simber. I mean, these 2 guys are some serious dudes. And beyond that, they've got 3 or 4 more other arms in there. So, you know, while everybody wants to talk about the beefed up starting rotation, which is the best it's been in many years, and the obvious strength of this team being the explosive offense, I think that the bullpen is underrated and could be a very key part of this team getting close to 100 wins before we're all said and done.
Hey, Rob, before we let you go, the Blue Jays' relationship with the Vancouver Canadiens continues. It's different now. They're now in High A. But with that in mind, what can you tell us about former Vancouver Canadian? I believe he's got mono to start the season. The big guy, Nate Pearson.
Well, there's one other big guy on there too, Alec Manoah, who
right. Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to get out to Nat Bailey when he was there. I guess it was 2018 or 2019, whatever season it was. It's all a blur now. Loved the place, man. What a great story the Canadiens are. It's it's well run, it's well supported. It's a great place to watch a ball game, and it's a great development tool for the Blue Jays. I mean, they love having a Canadian-based team as a way to groom players into basically learning what a loony and a toonie is and learning some of the nuances of Canada. Ryan Barucki met his wife there when he was there.
There you go.
But back to your original question, Pearson, yeah, man, this kid's got so much hard luck. Just can't stay healthy, whether it's physical or now mono. And he was having a pretty good camp. You know, he was sort of fighting his way into the fringes of the rotation. They want to keep him as a starter. And as everybody knows, especially with a shortened spring training, you really need 6 guys that can start, maybe even 7. And, you know, he was probably going to start the season as sort of that 6th starter. And I don't know how much this is going to set him back, but he's been sidelined for almost a week now. And the poor guy just can't seem to get a break.
Rob, I'll say it. I can't imagine how busy you are today. Thanks so much for making time for us. All the best, my friend.
Hey, my pleasure, guys. Enjoy the season. I think it's going to be a pretty good one.
You bet. Rob Longley from the Toronto Sun. He covers the Blue Jays. He talked about the Blue Jays' relationship with the Vancouver Canadiens. Yes. And, of course, a somewhat new relationship now. But what he said there is really true. When you talk to the people with the Canadiens or the higher-ups with the Blue Jays, they really value having their players, their younger players, because not many of them are from Canada.
That's it.
You know, to get used to the different money up here, to get used to the border up here, just the little nuances, the differences between Canada and the States and the other countries that players are from. So it's not so foreign to them once they get to Toronto. Makes a whole lot of sense.
Good point. A really good point there, Donnie. And pumped up about, we don't want to say it too loud, but pumped up about the Jays tonight.
Yep. You can say it. It's okay.
It's okay. I was going to wear my Blue Jays today.
Why not?
No.
Why not? Again, we don't have any problem. At least I don't have any problem with the Jays, the Leafs. It's the coverage they get.
It's the coverage.
At the
It's
expense
ridiculous.
of the rest of the country.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I don't have any problem with the teams. I'm okay with that, with the players. People like Rob there. No problem
Good
at
guy.
all. Okay, we'll update the poll question next. Donnie and Dolly, the team on check.
Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by AbleAuctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.